Well, hello there. Let me reveal myself here. I didn't plan ahead, did I? We do have a guest tonight, and when we have a guest, I also like to inflict my face on just about everybody if I can. Oh, we're having a little bit of a slowdown here. So I'm going to get my camera going as I bring in, uh, the guests. In fact, I am on stage, right? Yes, because I don't see the the audio visualizer there, but it wouldn't be earworms if there weren't technical issues. It'd be great to it would be great to get a 5x5 from the chat though to make sure I'm hearing myself because this software monitors anyway. And make sure you're hearing me. So anyway, tonight we are going to be doing the musical saw, which is also known as the acoustic theremin. And definitely found out this week that this is an instrument that I knew about. I knew that people played saws musically, um, but it's something that's not very commonly known. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight because we do have a guest on this evening who is very knowledgeable about the musical saw. He modifies saws in order to make musical saws. And he also does some saw implements, like some other things like bows and some attachments for the saw. He knows how to modify them and everything. So his name is Albert from Now Open for Lunch, and he is currently in the process over the next few weeks or next couple of months. He will be launching himself as an official artisan. He's been making some stuff and making some cool stuff, and pretty soon he will be going official. So we are going to be welcoming him aboard tonight. But before I get to that, I have to admit I better get a guest on soon because I've been here clicking away trying to get this camera up and running, and I know what it is, but I think I'm going to have to leave the stage and come back in order to do that. So let me get my cohorts, my partners in crime here, so to speak. Here we go. You all know him very well. You know him as Mountain Hawk. We know him as Mike Gorley. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I realized what I did because I had the visualizer from last week. The software I used to display that was taking the webcam. And so for me to use the regular webcam tonight as a true webcam, I need to make sure that that software's out of here. So I closed it. He can't. Albert is in the chat. So right now, Liza, they can't hear you. I didn't bring you on first. So yes, we're talking to each. Everything's going. It's going ass upwards.
Yeah.
Okay, here she is. Now you can speak to Albert, Liza. But anyway, or I could basically, Albert, in the chat, you had the link that you used Friday night is the same link. Just use that link to come on in here.
Yeah, let me know, Albert, if you need any help logging in. I have my email open. and I'll be able to help you out. Mister, if you could send me a copy of the link just in case. So, in case we have to troubleshoot
Okay, I
anything.
gotta turn on my webcam. I gotta send you a link. All
Do
right,
it. Do
I'm
it.
gonna leave the studio so you guys talk, amuse our chat for a little bit while I do a
Chat.
few things.
Chat. I am here to talk about amusing things. And so is
Amusing
Mike.
things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike is helping me with the amusing things part of this live stream. So, Mike, do you have anything amusing to tell us? Any adventures?
Adventures? Oh, man. The whole
For
weekend was an adventure.
oh yeah.
I went down to Asheville, saw my friends at Mono Means One, which is
Ooh.
the two guys from PX3. You've met
Yes. Yes, I remember them.
them, Rob and Isaac. They had a guest guitar sit-in Friday night. Yes, and another band on Saturday night, the Keith Allen Circus. Very good band. It was a great weekend, a lot of good music, and I hiked. I actually hiked.
Nice.
So I did a 5 miler yesterday, and
Oh,
yeah. So
gotta
on
go to
top
work.
of two late night concerts and 2 days of hiking, I'm tired, but I'm ready to hear some saw bending.
Awesome. Awesome. Saw bending. Was that a little reference to the last Airbender, Mike? Did you start watching that?
No, I haven't stopped watching it. It takes me forever to watch anything. I watch so little TV, but no, I haven't given up on it. I'm still watching it.
Okay. Yeah.
I was
Well,
surprised that my wife actually knew what I was talking about because
oh.
apparently years ago when we first moved here, we went to a festival and I didn't remember this, but she remembered seeing somebody doing it.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was one of these little like local where people just huddle up in little circles and bring instruments, and so I'm sure it doesn't wouldn't surprise me that there would be someone making music with a saw. I mean we're in Tennessee, so oh my
What is this all about? I can't even see
God,
you.
I'm
who is that?
here.
And who is I mean, gosh, what a weird entrance.
He's
Why?
here in half.
Well, they didn't hear it. The chat didn't hear it. Just you guys.
There's Albert.
Oh, there we go. There we see Albert.
I sent them the link. All right, here
Okay,
we
there we
go.
go.
All right, here
We
we
are
are.
ready. We are complete as a team. Cool
Yay!
beans.
Well, thank you for having me
Albert, you're a little bit low in level. Is there any way that you could turn up a little bit?
Or maybe get closer to the camera or microphone. We'll be able to hear you better, sir.
on. I'm not sure. How's that?
Much better.
Yeah, that is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
So I guess I'm going to be looking this way then.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You got a good profile.
There you go.
I can't find my glasses, but luckily I don't need them.
No, don't worry. I shall be reading the chat, putting up the chat, so no worries. You don't have to read anything off of
Yeah,
screen.
we'll pretty much serve everything up to you.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about the musical saw. How would you like to begin people's introduction to the instrument, Albert? Did you want to talk about yourself first, or should we play a little something?
Let's just play some saw, I think.
All righty.
I'm trying to get the right screen up here for some reason. Okay.
Don't worry, we know how it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me apologize for showing up late.
Oh.
I was really trying to get prepared, and my mental energy just all of a sudden left me, and I had to take a nap. And
No worries. No worries. These type of things can be stressful. I mean, I just finished. Gosh, I started a live stream today at 2
Yeah,
o'clock.
she's been streaming for 4 hours
and it was basically dead, me talking to myself up until 5 o'clock when it's 5 o'clock when people started rolling in. And
yeah.
And so yeah, I'm there in that cloud space.
Well, so I got a little nervous, but then I had to lay down, and then of course, I set my alarm for 5:30 a.m. instead of 5:30 p.m.
Oh, I've done that before.
I hope you were able to, fill the time and that we could still
Oh,
make
don't
this.
worry. That actually you came at just the right
Just
time.
the right time,
I mean,
Albert. Your timing is
it
great.
gave me plenty of opportunity to have my own technical issues and for us to look like complete fools for the chat. And then you came in just right on time. So
All right. Well, I just wanted to clear that up. There wasn't any kind of technical issue or anything like that. It was me just
no, I know
overthinking.
how it is. Sundays, I can get a little anxious and everything like that. And I was laying down a bit earlier and everything. So Sundays,
Yeah.
that's why I like to try and take it as easy as possible because I don't know. I mean, I don't think our audience knows, but this behaving like a fool like this is actually quite stressful.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, we're
Well,
going to play.
let's give a little presentation of the saw. My goal here is to expose the saw to people who may not know about it, and I think this is a great platform because apparently a lot of your listeners are into funky music and making funky sounds
Oh
and
yeah.
They play
using
that funky music, white boy.
and so now we're gonna play some funky music with something that was not built intentionally to play music. It's built for something else. So
Those are my favorite kind of instruments.
yeah, well, this is my saw. It's just a basic Stanley plastic handle. It's a crosscut saw. So on this one, there's only 9 teeth per inch. You know, and it basically performs the job of cutting things. So I learned about this saw years ago, and I decided to kind of pursue it. And really, all you need is a saw like this. This is the 26-inch version, and that's really the lowest you should go in terms of saw that'll play music. You can get a 20-inch saw or a 22-inch saw to play music, but you're going to get less of a range, and it's going to be harder to get the notes.
All
So
right.
Okay.
if you want to play the saw, you grab yourself a 26-inch saw like this. And so now there's some physics involved with how to make it play sounds, which we'll discuss. And you don't need an amp. That's for some of my other instruments. But anyway, what you do is you have to put one bend into it like this, and then you put a second bend like that to make it into an S shape.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then what you do is you hit the saw with a bow of some kind, or your finger, or some kind of metal instrument or something, and it'll make a sound right where those two curves meet.
Oh wow.
Okay, so that's when you bring the bow in. This is a handcrafted bow of mine.
Wow. Look at that.
Okay, and that is from a golf club, right? This is the grip.
Wow.
This is the grip
wow.
end.
That's amazing.
And you put a couple of fixtures here. This is a bent screw on this side, and this is just kind of some kind of a hook on the other side. And then this is fishing line,
Wow.
and you use a certain amount of it according to the gauge of the fishing line. So this is 4 gauge, and it turns out that there's a number that you have to get to where you want a certain amount of strings there. The number is 400. 300 to 400 is good. So you multiply the gauge, and you come up with a number. So I needed 100 strands of this, right? Basically, so I wrapped it around 50 times, and that gives you 100 strands. At 4 gauge, that gives you a number of 400, and that's right where you want to be. So that's nice and tight. I have a wing nut here. And the great thing about this bow is you don't have to loosen it and tighten it all the time like you would with a cello bow.
Wow.
Or a violin bow.
Oh yeah.
And this fishing line is much stronger than horsehair or any kind of imitation horsehair or whatever they're using.
All right.
So, this is my bow. Anyway, so what you do is you hit the saw where those two curves meet, and it makes a noise. Well, before you do that, you get your rosin,
Oh,
So
there we go.
you need a little thing of rosin, like you would for a violin bow or a cello bow. And another great thing about my bow is you don't have to rosin it quite as much, but whatever.
Nice.
You just rub some of the rosin on the strings like this. And I also rub it on the edge of the saw. Okay, and you don't need to do that very often. Like I'll be able to play this off for a couple hours now, and I won't really have to rosin it again.
Oh,
Where
wow.
with a cello bow, you would. So here we go. Remember when I said you bend it once, and then you put another bend in, and then you hit it where the two bends meet. So let's make a sound.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
And that's why it's called the Acoustic Theremin, folks.
Yeah.
So is the bow actually touching the
Oh yeah, the bow is touching the string.
saw?
The bow is touching the saw. Yes.
Okay.
And it's actually the
All right.
rosin that makes it make noise.
So, Albert, you were telling me before that the saw had to be modified in order for you to be able to bow it. What modifications did you have to make to the blade for it to be bowable?
Okay, well, first of all, there's certain saws of this size that sound good and others that don't. Okay, I have, excuse me for 1 second, the Big Brother saw to this one, also made by Stanley, but comes with a wooden handle. Okay, also 26 inches and similar in shape, but not completely, the same in shape. But anyway, the wooden handle one doesn't sound as good as the plastic handle one.
Hmm.
And it has to do with the shape of the saw. Okay, one important thing is when it comes to a really small point up here, they tend to sound better for some reason. And it's the gauge of the metal made by the saw. So this is actually very bouncy and very flexible. Okay, and it's
Right.
and the Big Brother saw with the wooden handle, it's
A
just
bit stiffer.
a
Yeah.
bit stiffer, and it's got this. It doesn't come to that really fine point like the little sister saw does. So first of all, like I was saying, there's different factors, but to make it playable, like if someone bought this particular saw off of eBay or whatever, it comes to you playable. Okay, what I'm doing with those modifications is making it sound better and making it easier to get the notes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what I did was, and how you condition a saw, and I have a video made for this for when I launch my channel. So how people can pick up their own hardware store saw just like this, and then do those modifications just to give it its best chance to sound good.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so what I did in the video was I showed how if you can think of the blade as a box, right? Because that's kind of what it is. It's squared off. I'm talking about the actual blade if you're looking at it from like that angle. Okay.
Alrighty.
This part, this top part is squared off, if you know what I mean, right? It's a flat surface, and then it's a flat surface, and then it's a flat, So what I'm doing with the modification is I'm trying to round off this top part, okay, to where you can hit it with the bow at different angles and it will still sound good, right? Am I giving a good visualization on what I'm doing to modify the saw or no?
You're
Yes,
doing
sir.
a good
Yeah,
job.
doing a
And
great job.
I'm just going to interject here in a minute. I have this chat up just so Liza knows that we are also live on Rumble right now. And that's going to be an important thing going forward because as YouTube gives us some copyright issues now and then, at least on Rumble, they do not. So anytime in the future. This stream will probably be okay, but if there's anything in this stream that gets cut because of copyright, the full stream will be available on Rumble afterwards.
Yay, Rumble.
And you can even chat with us from Rumble if you want to jump over there.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Rumble chats as well, mister. So
Yep.
we're good. We're good on
Just
both
testing that
platforms.
out. So
Yes.
anyway, back to
Okay.
you.
So basically, what I did was, I took some sandpaper like on an apparatus like this, and I hit it kind of at this angle, and then on the other side, also at that angle, and I'm rounding off the top. Okay, and instead of having it be a box shape, it's going to be more like, a curve at the top, and that's just letting the bow hit it at different angles and still be able to sound good.
Very cool.
It's just a quick modification that you can do to give yourself a better chance with the saw. Like, what I'm hoping for is that some people see this and they say, okay, I'd like to try that. And there's nowhere to really buy a saw package right now for a reasonable price. So, what's this on the chat? Did you round off the edge of the saw too to make it favorable to use the bow? Yeah, it's this top edge that you got to round off,
Nice.
And so I'm just taking sandpaper and I'm going at an angle, at kind of different angles, and just getting a rounder edge on that. That's called conditioning the saw for play. So, like I said, you can buy it at the hardware store, take it home, and it'll start making noise once you hit it with a bow. But it's going to sound better if you do some conditioning. I made a whole video. I plan on launching a YouTube channel and like a website together, and show tutorials on how to do this stuff, because basically I want to see the saw in more people's hands. I want to see more people playing the saw, and like financially, I would like to make saw packages for people. What I want to do is take these plastic, if I can find more of these, this particular model of saw, then take the plastic handle off, fit a nice old wooden handle onto it instead, and then sell it with a bow and with a little thing of rosin so people can get playing right away. But what I also would rather see people do is just use my information, find their own saw on online somewhere, make their own bow. I have a bow making tutorial on the way also.
Awesome.
And
I'll be watching that.
yeah, and then just start playing, where I'll offer some things for sale for people that don't want to make their own, that they don't want to make their own bow, or they don't want to condition their own saw. They want one that's already done. And so I'll have little packages for sale, but basically before I get any of that up and running, I'm here to show people that you can make some funky music with a regular hardware store saw and just a little bit of. So what I would do, right? Like, let's say, because right now I don't have any packages available. So for anybody who comes on here, and after we hear some more of some real good players, that can play the saw, and people say, hey, you know what, I want to try to make sounds like that, then go to the hardware store, go on eBay, and try to find one of these 26-inch saws. And then all you're really going to do, you don't have to watch my tutorial to do this, is that just round off this top edge, So you want to kind of come like this. You could go like this, and then at different angles, but just round it off. It's not rocket science. You don't have, it doesn't have to take you 3 hours to do it. It could take you 15 minutes to just kind of burn that edge a little bit, just so the bow is, a little more receptive to the saw, or the saw is a little more receptive to the bow. And then anybody can always just pick up some kind of Chinese cello bow or what, from Temu, or I don't know.
I don't know. Well, they probably have it at Temu. Also, just so people know, if you want to stay in touch with Albert, we'll be having him on in the future when he launches his store and everything. But in the meantime, if you want to stay in touch with him, I did drop his YouTube link down in the chat so people can click on it. And for those of you who are viewing us after the fact, it is in the description on both YouTube and the Rumble channel.
Cool. And
Yeah,
so,
well, there's a
uh,
couple videos. Yeah, go ahead, Liza.
oh, I'm sorry. Just a quick question about the sandpaper. Is there any special grit that we should be using on the saws?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you're actually trying to take off some material. So,
Oh, okay.
at first you can go with a heavier gauge, like 80 grit or
Okay.
120 grit. You know,
Oh,
you don't really want to hit the saw with a 50 grit or anything like that. But I mean, like I started out on the one on my first saw project, who I'm doing for someone we know.
Mhm.
I started. I made a video conditioning that, and I started off with I can't remember. It was either 80 or 120, and then you
Mhm.
want to end up with maybe a 220 or a 300 or something, and that's as far as you got to go. You're not going crazy with it. You're just trying to take off a little bit of that round or a little bit of that edge and make it.
Mhm.
So you can kind of use your common sense and you know um, start off with a heavier grit sandpaper and finish up with a lighter grit, and it'll do the job. It does. Your saw doesn't need to be conditioned by me to be in perfect shape, ready to play. It can be done by you, or anybody.
well, some
Yeah.
people would prefer, um, to have buy something that is plug and play, ready to go. So
And plus, you
Yeah,
can add your artistry to the handles that you make.
absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
your art,
Well,
yeah,
that's why I don't really have a store set up yet. I'm kind of I'm on the upswing now. Like I had a rough year, and I really didn't have a lot of extra money to be buying tools and all that. I wasn't really planning on doing anything like this at the moment. It was things that were on the back burner or what. But I got motivated to get this going a little faster when I started talking with you, Dr. Liza, because I originally uh, found one of your videos where you're talking about your leg fiddle, and I saw you were hitting it with a cello bow
yeah,
or a violin bow,
yeah. I
and
just had a cheap
Mhm.
violin bow from Amazon. It actually broke, by the way.
I know. See, I told you they're so fragile. They're so fragile, and you got to
Yeah,
play them all the time. So my original, conversation with you was, oh, hey, by the way, I know how to make homemade bows that last a lot longer than that goofy cello bow you're using.
yeah,
And so we started a conversation, and then I emailed you something. I made a video for you, like, oh, well, and if you want to know why I'm making bows, here's why. And, there's so I can hit them with so I can hit a saw with them. That's why I'm making bows.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the original conversation we had. And, that's how it
Yeah.
all started off. But I always
But
always kind of wanted to have my own store, like what I plan on doing, but I wasn't really on the fast track to doing that until
mhm.
now, because now I've got all this going and I made a few videos for Dr. Liza. And so I thought, well, okay, any old time would be great to launch a store, you know. Um,
Well,
but
I know, Albert, it's hard to launch any kind of business, no matter how big or small, without any type of funds. And one, I mean, if you need help raising money to buy equipment for your workshop, put together a Patreon, and I will spread the word about it. And we got to get your workshop up and running.
Now, Albert, would you
yeah,
like to hear some Olivier Doucet?
yeah. Well, that's my favorite saw player. There's you can see that there's if you do any searching on YouTube or whatever, you'll find a few different saw players out there, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them are playing a hardware store saw like this, but for the people that get really good at saw, they tend to graduate to a longer one. Like there's common sizes are 30 inches and 36 inches. So what we're going to hear is a guy who plays a 36-inch saw, and he does it in a very interesting way. He puts the handle on the ground and holds it with his feet, and then he grabs the saw with his hand with a glove on it, and he
Ooh.
bends it to the right shape. Yeah, I'd love to hear some Olivier Doucet.
Sure.
I think he's the best saw. This will be the best saw player in the world. You'll hear.
Now, you gave me the freedom to pick a video on this, and I searched this afternoon, and Olivier Doucet, spelled Olivier, and Doucet, Doucet, is not the only Olivier Doucet out there, and you'll find a lot of other people. So it takes a little bit of digging, and he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. But
Oh.
yes, he is a fine artist, and so we're going to hear something by him. Hopefully, Albert, you'll be happy with this selection. Let's go ahead.
Plays the Queen of the Night from like Mozart.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go. No. No.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's great.
It is. No.
Oh my God.
Oh,
It's awesome. Oh. Whoa. Of all the songs you can pick. Huh. No.
Oh,
The sequence. He did the sequence. That is amazing.
crazy. Wow.
Clapping. Clap, 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 clap.
oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
You really picked
Yeah.
a good one there. That is.
Yeah, that's taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's virtuosity for sure on the saw.
Right. I mean, like I was saying, I think he's the best in the world. So that's something to strive for. You know, you can have a lot more. You can have a lot of fun with the saw and not necessarily be that good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't see that happening in my lifetime.
Well, really, I like that the way he plays it. I mean, if you look around on YouTube, you're not going to find anyone else playing it like that. And
No.
I think I want to try that out at some point. I don't really even know where to get a 36-inch saw at this point. There's a company called Wentworth. I think he's playing a Wentworth. But what he does is he actually makes his own blades at this point. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if he's active. When you go to that channel where you found that video, it's called Musical Saw Men. Okay.
Well, actually, that's a different channel. This is some Chinese, or I didn't understand the lettering, but it was an Asian language. And so it was a performance he gave somewhere that I believe is in the Far East.
Right. But, well, if you want to find more videos of just Olivier, his channel is called Musical Saw Men.
Okay, I do have that. I do have another video from there that you provided me with.
Yeah.
The national anthem.
Right. And so on his channel, there's about, quite a few, maybe 90 performance videos, and they're all like, 3 minutes or whatever. And then he gives some tutorials, and that's where he's the one that showed me how to make my own bows. And I was in contact with him back then.
Wow.
And I showed him what I made, and he was really impressed. Actually,
Nice.
he liked that it had a rubber grip. So on his channel, he has a bow making tutorial also, and he just uses, for this rod here, he'll use a crossbow arrow.
Wow.
And he takes the head off and takes the back off, and then you just insert these screws or whatever you can come up with as a way to hold the fishing line. So now he's playing a long saw with a much different technique. I would recommend that anybody that wants to get into playing saw. Well, number one, you're not going to find a 36-inch saw like that.
Yeah, I just checked eBay, like you said, to check it out. But yeah, I didn't find one on eBay.
Nah, there's nothing 36 inches like that. There's a couple of companies that make a 30-inch musical saw. One's called the Stradivarius, and then there's another one called the Parkstone Melody. And they go for about $100 to $150. You can get them with a walnut handle or a cheaper beech handle or what on the Parkstone Melody. But those are going to be 30-inch saws. And, you're not going to be able to get to Mr. Doucet's level with that either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Need something longer for more notes.
And a lot
more
of
notes. Yeah, you need more of an octave range. Mr. Doucet on that saw that he's using can probably get 3 octaves.
Yeah.
Worth of notes.
Yeah,
Wow.
the human voice range he was able to get in a saw. That's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool when he gets those high notes, and then you see him dig it out. He's like grinding it out.
That's what the glove is for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, just his head motion, you can see him. What do you got there?
The 30-inch musical saws. Yeah, there's nothing for 36-inch, but even you got to do Google to get
Now,
enough
is there a particular?
Don't worry, Mike will be back. Mike, now and then his internet will just like drop a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead again, Mike.
Are you
No,
not
yeah, but it's just now and then there's like a 3-second gap in between words you say that happens now and then.
Well, yeah, well, that's because there's a gap for me on your end, so I was cutting you off and I stopped. I deliberately stopped. I was going to ask you on your bow if there was a particular gauge of nylon that you find better.
Yeah, well, the one I made has got 4-gauge fishing line on it. Okay, and you want to get the most basic fishing line you can. You don't want to have any kind of additives on there. Like there's they make fishing line that, I don't know, has something sprayed on there for some reason or another. I don't know.
Oh,
But
right.
you want just basic fishing line, and this is 4 gauge, and like I said, I wrapped it around 50 times to give me 100 strands of it, and you're looking for a number in between 300 and.
Sorry about that. Clicked the wrong scene. I wanted to get you on screen.
Okay, so yeah, I would go with 4 gauge. You could do the same thing with 8 gauge and just wrap it around half as many times. You know, with a 4 gauge, you need 100 strands to get you in that 400 range. With an 8 gauge,
Okay.
you would need 50 strands, or you would need to go 25 times around because each loop provides 2 strands. You know, you get it.
Mm.
So basically, I would go with a 4 gauge. You know,
Out of curiosity, Albert,
Nice.
have you hit the strings of a guitar with those? Does it sound all? Because I'm wondering for my leg fiddles, I'm wondering what it would sound like.
yeah, well, that's what I want is for you to make your own bows for your leg fiddles, or you can order 50 bows from me, and I'll make them for you at a heavy discount. But no,
Ah,
50.
nice.
well,
All
basically,
right. Into
At a discount, cool.
yeah.
production.
I don't know. Let's see. I got a cigar box guitar right here.
Yay.
This was
There
my
we go.
this was my first real instrument, you know, and let's just see.
Oh, it sounds good. Okay. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think you got to work these into your production somehow. You know,
I gotta watch your tutorials, Albert. If it's too complicated, we'll definitely make
Well,
some type of
you
a
could
deal.
maintain the fishing theme. Just use a fishing rod and the line.
Are the bows is that bow? I mean, in compared to like a regular violin bow, is it heavier than a regular violin bow, or about the same weight?
this is just a golf club, so it's
Okay.
not heavy. You know,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
and I don't know if I were doing some kind of project like what you're doing. These are going to be so much better to sell than trying to come up with some kind of a cello bow or violin bow that you can buy many of them, and they're so
Well,
crappy.
my issue with them is like I like your design because yes, it's durable and it doesn't need much rosin. So yeah. Um
The fact that you don't have to loosen it is
exactly.
to
There's
be
no maintenance, there's no fiddling around with it. Once it's made and I like that.
right. Like I've had this one now since I started playing the saw. I can't even remember how many years it's been, but it might be something like 8 years. You know, and
Wow.
I haven't done anything to this bow. This this wing nut for loosening and tightening is really just for the very first time you put it together. You know, you kind of stick the screw in one end and you stick this thing in the other end, and you're just tightening it down until it's right. And then I haven't touched it since. You know, like
Wow.
8 years ago, and
That is amazing.
I haven't lost any of the fishing line strings either. Like none of you'll notice with a horsehair bow, a violin or cello bow, like sometimes you'll find these flying horsehairs around that got cut or
Mhm.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
they need maintenance for sure they do. Yeah.
that was the first bow that I used was just a Chinese cello bow, and yeah, sure enough, I broke it within a month. And then I found Mr. Doucet's tutorial. There's really not a lot to making this bow. You got to cut the golf club off at the right, however long you want it. I don't know if you remember, but when we were watching Mr. Doucet, he's using a handmade bow also. He,
Yep, I remember. Yeah.
he makes his own, and you can see like my design wasn't perfect, right? My little bent screw there didn't really get bent at perfectly 90 degrees. and down here in the corner, I'm just using some copper, line here of some kind to make a little, a way to for that to not
I
come not come
like
apart. So
the look of it. It's very rustic. It very much goes,
yeah,
with
Yeah.
other rustic
And it looks
instruments.
sturdy.
It looks sturdy too. Yeah, the styling is great and the durability is great. So,
yeah. So
bravo.
when I get the website going and everything, I can offer bows to people who want just a bow, and I can offer the saw with the bow and the rosin. And I'm not looking to become some kind of rich millionaire off of that, but really, I just want to be able to put a saw in people's hands that want to play it. And some people are just going to want, like you said, plug and play,
Yeah.
open the box,
Mm.
Yeah.
and start playing it. It's already conditioned, it's already ready to go. And then for other people, I want them to explore, making your own. You know, um, I kind of do like the way that sounds on the, but there's
Sounds
no
nice.
advantage to having a regular violin bow or cello bow if you plan on doing leg fiddle stuff.
Right.
It's not going to be to your advantage to have a store bought cello bow.
I am convinced, Albert. I'm convinced.
That
And
may even
Scott,
sound better.
yeah, it
Yep.
Yes, it
sounds like
does.
it's louder. It sounds like it really digs in. Right.
That sounds pretty good.
There we go.
you know,
Scott Halvett, who is a mechanist, has some info for you, Albert. He says, as a mechanist, to get the same type of steel, I would order stress-proof shafts. I'm just not familiar with the sheet steel with the same characteristics as stress-proof shafts that don't hold their form. So, yeah, just some info about steel, I guess, for making your own saws from
I,
scratch.
yeah, I think that's what that was about.
Yeah,
I know that Mr. Doucet did get into that at some point.
right.
He did get into producing saws. You know,
Nice.
he started using saws with just like a block of wood at the end of it, not no fancy handle or anything, just like something to hold with his feet, piece of wood. And that's probably down the line. That's the biggest hindrance for me to get any kind of saw business going. If I want to provide saws for people, is obtaining them. You know,
Right.
they're kind of expensive. This hardware store saw that I play, I bought for $14 in a hardware store, and you try to find this saw now, and I did find a new one, which is what I'm using to make my first production saw for someone we know. I found a new version of it. It was like $38, for
Wow.
this plastic handle saw. Um,
Man, inflation.
it would be nice if somebody had a workshop and would just be able to, put the steel through a little machine or something, a CNC machine or whatever, and just produce blades. But that's part of the fun of it. Really, is to find a blade that you like off of eBay or whatever, or if you're lucky enough to be at a flea market,
Yes.
or a
Oh, yeah.
garage sale. Because what we could do is for a few minutes, if you wanted to just take a look on eBay and see what you could get for a 26-inch saw. I was thinking that's something we can do, and I can kind of you could go through a couple of them, and I could tell you if it's something that I would buy to try to play or not.
Yeah, let's take a look at
Mm-hmm.
eBay. I think Lawrence is pulling up a screen for you.
Well, I was just about to. I was checking on our friends on Rumble, and just so everybody knows, on both platforms, Rumble and YouTube, Albert is taking questions. So please do not be afraid to ask questions.
I
First, you're going to see me sharing Google here, and then I'll go over to eBay. Let's
So
see
there's some
here.
characteristics that you need to have. There are saws that have um, more of a curved top edge. Okay, this is dead nuts straight. This top edge here, it's a straight line, and that's essential um, for buying a saw that you can play. Okay,
Okay.
you can't have this curved top edge. Like
Right.
there, you'll see if we can get a couple of examples of saws that are for sale. And all we're looking for would be a used 26-inch saw, you know, and some of them are.
Just say 26-inch saw.
Yeah, you could just do that. That's all.
You don't have to say musical, right? Because you're
No.
just looking for any blades that would work.
Yeah, he's just looking for supply of blades. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. We got bikes.
How do we get bikes in a search for saws?
You got to
Well-
put handsaw, I think. I
Oh,
found it
okay.
interesting on Amazon. A wood handle Stanley is $31. The same one on eBay is $50. So you got to be careful with eBay.
Yeah.
But they do vintage ones.
Okay, here's some saws. Here's what you're going to see a lot of are the Distons. That was a big saw making company back in the day, like let's say the 80s, 90s, 2000s. The Diston company put out a lot of saws. So I don't know. Click on that one for $18
I don't see well. Is it the top, middle, or?
at the top.
It's at the top, the first
Okay.
listing, yeah.
There we go.
Some of these Distons I wanted to try out.
I think you need to double click.
Well, I'm on it, aren't I?
Nope.
I'm seeing prices and stuff.
Oh, we don't.
No,
see
no,
that.
Oh
Where-
yeah, I look
I
at
mean
your
on the-
screen. Yeah, on your screen it didn't advance, but on mine it did.
Oh.
What does the chat see? Do they see the?
The chat sees just the listings, but not the particular one that
This
we
is
want to look at.
something weird because it's like I'm sharing a browser tab and I'm where I'm supposed to be in the browser, but you guys see the thing before.
Evie Mux is misbehaving.
But how could it do that?
I don't know. Every stream, there's a different thing to troubleshoot.
I think it's interesting that the saw is $18, but it's 21 to
For shipping, yeah, it's
for
tough.
shipping.
Yeah, that's
The
where they
shipping
get
is more
you.
than the saw.
That's where they get you in eBay a lot of the times is the shipping. It's
Shipping
like,
is
oh,
horrible
this is,
now.
yeah, it's like, oh, this is super cheap. But then you look at the shipping, it's like, oh, that's where
I
they're
always
really
look-
charging you
I
for
always look at the shipping.
it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
did
tough
that?
'cause it's a large instrument that's awkwardly shaped, you know, so it's going to be tough to put in a regular box. So yeah, the shipping gets you. It's okay, like for anybody who wants to just buy their own saw and try to get it to play music, because you're only going to buy one. But for someone like me who wants to kind of, you know, have a business going, like I got
Right.
for each saw that I put out for somebody, I got to buy that saw first, you know. And so I really don't want to have to charge people arm and a leg to have a saw package of their own, you know. But we're starting out spending $40 on a freaking blade right off the bat, you know. And then
Yeah.
whatever it cost me to make the bow, basically I have to get my hands on a lot of golf clubs, you know.
Yeah, I'm like scrolling and we're not even seeing that on the display.
Now, is
Yeah,
there an
well,
advantage?
that's
Is
okay.
I'm gonna basically close this and
there an
open it again.
advantage
Let's see
of
what
a
happens.
Wood versus plastic on handle.
What was the question about the handle?
Is there an advantage to a wood or plastic handle?
Well, the wood handle, Stanley. Oh, I just lost my screen.
You want to see yourself?
Yeah, let's pull them up in the
Okay.
middle.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was trying to get the eBay to look right.
No,
This
I
is
don't
the
think
wood
we're gonna.
handle, Stanley, and it's
Hold
like
on.
it's like the big brother to the one I have, and there's a disadvantage to this one, in that it sounds shittier than the plastic handle. You can't tell by the handle if it's going to sound good, you know.
Right.
I got into the idea of replacing those plastic handles with wooden ones just because it's more aesthetically pleasing. You know, I don't like a plastic
Right.
handle. It's ugly and it's stupid looking. You know,
Well,
so
most of your older ones seem to have the wood handle.
yeah, they only started making plastic handle saws recently. Any of those distant saws that you'll find, well, those will all be wooden handles, and they'll all be nice wooden handles, you know, made out of walnut or some kind of nice hardwood. And
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, I'm looking at one on eBay that's $12.25 and $12.58 to ship. So basically about $25.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
not
wish
bad.
you guys could share your screen since my sharing of the browser isn't going great.
yeah, I mean, now we're
But-
talking $25 is something that's a little more reasonable for a used saw. You know, I don't personally want to spend $40.
Right.
Right.
And you're saying distant is quality, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're not sure
Right.
which of the models sound good yet, of the distance. And I think if you start off with a shape that, like this one here, for some reason, it's really important for this tip to come to a very fine point. You know, the Big Brother saw to this is almost twice as high, this tip edge here. You know?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Now, on these old ones, I'm noticing that I'm seeing on eBay, they look like they have rust. How does that factor in?
Yeah, well, what you want to do is get rid of the rust. It's not going to make the saw unplayable, but if you can get rid of as much as you can, you're better off. So you're going to give it a vinegar bath
Nice. Okay.
for about a day. You know, just soak it in vinegar. Get as much of the rust off as you can, and then go ahead and sand your saw down. You know, sand this
Right.
whole thing down, and get more rust off like that. You know, make this perfectly smooth if you can. You know, and yeah, you're gonna get some rust. You don't want a ton of it lingering around. It's just gonna mess up the sound. You know, but you don't have to discard a saw just because it's rusty. You know,
Well,
Right.
I'm just noticing these old ones. Yeah, the one I just mentioned for $12 is you can tell it's got some rust on it.
yeah, just a good vinegar bath overnight. Um, that'll get rid of the rust, and then you'll hit it with a Scotch pad, and then you'll hit it with maybe some, 200 or 300 grit sandpaper, and just clean it up. That's all. Buy yourself,
Nice.
get yourself a used saw. That's one of the beauties of playing the saw. They're really easy to obtain. It's a little expensive now because of shipping and all that, but you could find something at a flea market or a garage sale that might play. You know.
Yeah.
And so,
Right.
I don't know. Did you want me to show you the range of notes?
Do it. Yes.
Well,
yeah.
actually, do you think we could play one of your other video examples and then you'll show us the range?
Sure.
I just want to keep the variety going. I don't know.
Yep.
I have it queued up here, and
This is my favorite rendition of a song that uses the saw. I think
Awesome.
this saw player here, this woman is I think her name is Jenny. She is really great player. So yeah, this is my favorite song on the saw.
we do have the links in the description, folks, if you ever want to check these channels out. We do have Music Saw Men, and this one, it seems more like a personal channel. It's Jazz Boo 43.
All right.
But the link is in the description for this performance of Mississippi Sawyer on Musical Saw.
It's such a great song.
very words that he said. Well, I went down to St. James Infirmary, see my baby there. She was stretched out on the long white table, so cold, so pale, so fair. Let her go, God bless her, wherever that she may be. You can search this whole world over, never find a banjo player like me.
Right here. That's so great.
Amazing.
Oh,
When I
so
die,
good.
won't you bury me in my high top Stetson hat? Put a $20 gold piece on my watch chains. My friends know I died sending pat. I want 6 crap shooters, 4 pallbearers, a pretty girl gon' sing me a song. I want a jazz band on my horse wagon, gonna raise hell as we roll on. Won't you roll out your rubber tire wagon? Won't you roll out your rubber tire rack? 13 men going down to that graveyard, only 12 of them men coming back. Now that you've heard my story, have yourself a shot of the booze. And if anybody should ask, I got the St. James Infirmary blues.
Here we go one more time. Finale.
You're almost thinking she's going to play a
Awesome.
little bit higher, but she doesn't quite chance it.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that she's doing, at most there, it might be a range of 1.5 octaves, and you were about to talk to us about the range that you have there?
I think with that saw, she can get 2 octaves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a hardware store saw provides 1 octave worth of notes.
Mm.
Okay.
I went through it in a video for Dr. Liza, and I got the old app out and everything, and yeah, we got about 1 octave. But I'll show you. I'll let you hear where that is. So. This is about the middle. We can go low. And high is up here. So now the difference is in how you're playing it, and you know what kind of saw you have. My whole thing is going to be focused on providing people with information to be able to play this kind of saw. And if you notice, for the longer saws, people start using different techniques. You know, Mr. Doucet was holding it with his feet and grabbing it with a hand at the end of here. And the lady in the last song, she had a wooden spike at the end here, and she was using that as a handle. Okay, that's kind of common, and a lot of people are doing that. with the longer saws, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with the shorter one, the 26-inch being short, you know, you don't need any kind of a handle or anything like that. And I just wanted to talk about the different ways to hold the saw, to play it. And what you'll find if you go looking around on YouTube or whatever, I only found one guy who showed anybody how to play what I call the right way, you know. So anyway, let me try to describe that. So I was saying how, you know, you need to make two bends, one this way and then one this way. But when you look on YouTube, you're going to find people trying to tell you to grab the saw like this and put your three fingers over here and put your thumb. And this is how this is how people are going to teach you how to play the saw. And it's totally wrong. It's just not good. You got your hand in this awkward
Look
position.
hard.
It is. It's not right. But this is all you'll find until you jump on the right website, the right YouTube channel that I'll show you. But anyway, this is how they have you holding it, and you can still play it. Okay, but if you just turn your hand the other way and you grab it like this, you can achieve the same thing, and now your wrist doesn't hurt.
Well,
And the
there we
added benefit is
go.
my
Yeah.
three
Yeah,
fingers up here.
exactly.
What was that?
Yeah, your method seems less painful.
Yeah, I don't think I could do the other way.
The other
That'd kill
way,
my arthritis.
you're putting your wrist in a really awkward position, you know. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
if you start looking around, how do I play a 26-inch saw? This is what you'll find. You'll have people trying to tell you to do this, and then now the best thing about my method is
Yeah, my arthritis is in my thumb, so
there's a saw. What do we got here?
Well, I was able to get that tab. What happened is when I clicked on the item in the list, it went to a different tab. It opened a different tab, so what was being shared was still the list, and I didn't notice that it had opened another tab.
Uh-huh.
But this was the same one from before. This is just the big version.
So I would be kind of curious. That would be a saw where I would think had a pretty good shot of being a player. It's got that straight top edge. That's the key. That top edge has got to be straight and not. I mean, I'm not talking kind of curved because it's old. I'm talking about a saw that was designed with a curve at the top of that blade. You know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's just not a straight line. So you need that straight line. What you want is like a lot of saw material around that handle. You want from that top edge to the bottom edge to be like, you know, 8 inches or 6 inches, like a lot of material there. Yeah, that end.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
my mouse is just going there.
it's all right.
Is there something you want to show? Tell me which image to focus
well,
on.
I'm noticing on some of these ads.
Ooh.
So anyway,
Yeah, Mike, we lost your sound. You said you've been noticing on some of these.
No, I was waiting. Yeah.
Oh shoot! No, we were waiting for you because sometimes it pauses.
on some of these, and I'm seeing TPI and PPI, so I don't know which one's right. But like 8, 7, 11, what does that mean, and does it matter?
yeah, it actually does matter. It's teeth per inch, and what I've noticed with my saw, this is a 9 tooth per inch saw. Okay, your finer saws that are designed more for like finish cutting and everything will be 12 teeth per inch, or whatever, or it could go up as high as 15. Okay, and I have noticed that the lower teeth per inch saws perform better. So you want a crosscut saw that has like 8 or 9 teeth per inch, and that is
okay.
That is an important
That's good
factor.
to know.
There's a lot of things that go into whether or not the saw is going to sound good. You know, there's the shape that I was talking about and how the point over on this end comes to a very small um, edge, and then this other side, you want a lot of material here. You want from top to bottom to be 8 inches, or you want a lot. You want a big end here, and you want a little end here. So the shape, and then whether or not it's bouncy and flexible or not. If it's a thin blade, or if it's a really thick heavy blade, the thick heavy blade is not going to sound good. And then there's the teeth per inch. You want to keep it in the crosscut range, like 8 or 9 teeth per inch. So those are really the three factors. You can't just look at a saw and tell that it's going to sound good, but you can give yourself a little better shot by going for some of the guidelines that I've laid out.
Right.
Right.
The shape, and you want it to be really flexible like this.
Nice.
So if you're at a yard sale or something, right, and you see a saw and it comes to a nice fine point like this, and you pick it up and it's really flexible, and the blade doesn't seem too thick, then you might say, hey, that one might be worth trying to take a shot with, But if you see another one, like a fancy old one, but the shape ain't right, and it's kind of heavy and doesn't really flex too much, I wouldn't take a shot with it,
Yep.
Right.
So there's a few different things to consider. But this one, here's the saw I'm putting together for Dr. Liza. I got an actual sister saw to mine. It's the same saw with the same handle. And so I took off that goofy plastic handle because I just don't like them, and we fitted it with a nice, wooden handle one. So this is kind of what I plan on
Cat
doing.
ears.
What's that?
It looks like cat ears
Cat ears?
when you held it up.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. He
Yeah.
has some nice wood burn art on the other side. It's really beautiful work you're doing, Albert.
Oh, well, I didn't do this. I didn't make that. This is just a handle that was, and
I
so
know, but when you held it up straight, I was like, looks like cat ears,
yeah,
which is
Right.
perfect for you.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
cool.
So like this is the process I want to go through. Okay, I want to find more blades like this, take off the plastic handles, throw them away, and then replace them with wooden handle like this. So I don't really have, you're calling me a builder and all that, but I'm just here in the ghetto of Syracuse, New York, with not many tools or really much at all. And I've hit kind of a roadblock. And now it took me a minute to get this handle to where the blade could just be inserted like that also. But anyway, so what I have to do, there's one hole here that lines up already that I'm going to use, and I can pin it like that. And then I have to make 2 different holes for where these other 2, go in. So I'm drilling holes into a metal piece, and I just obtained some drill bits that probably will work. I'm going to start off with a really small hole. Like when I send you the saw, if you take the handle off, you'll see where I tried already to drill a hole there, and it started bouncing on me.
Ooh.
And the last thing I wanted to do was put a really ugly mark, all down here and everything. We're from my drill bits skidding all over the place. So the point is, I'm not set up really to produce these. This is all kind of in the idea phase, but we're seeing right now if there's any interest, in the saw. And really what I'm trying to do is provide people a way to put their own saw package together if they want to, in the future, I'll offer saw packages and all that for sale. But I really want to see people just do what I did and obtain a saw, condition it, and we talked about it. It's really just a matter of running some sandpaper along the edge, both sides, and kind of trying to round this off. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just getting it to be rounder than it is now, And then I guess if you don't feel like making your own bow, it's not hard to make a bow. You know, what I should really do is try to get the bow making tutorial up on
Yeah,
now.
I can't wait to see that, Albert. I'm gonna sit down and take notes.
Yeah, um, I think it's the way you should go with your leg fiddle. You know, you need a good bow with it,
Well,
and
Hmm.
you've convinced me, Albert, not to do Amazon you know, regular bows. You've convinced
no,
me that I need to build my own with fish, with nylon
Fish.
string, with
Fish.
Yeah,
Fish.
fish line.
fish line. Yes.
yeah. Well, you can even use my idea of the golf club if you want. Like, I don't care. I don't have a patent on that. But
What
I
what
you,
wonder.
other
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
what else would you recommend other than a golf club necessarily?
well, Mr. Doucet likes that crossbow arrow. You know,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It'd be good to be able to repurpose something that's no longer in use anymore. Maybe like the upper end of a pool cue or.
I was going to say, can you do wood? A hardwood, obviously.
Um, yeah, but I think then you're going to run into issues where you have to tighten and loosen those strings every so often. You know, like
Oh
when you're
yeah,
done.
you need something where you can adjust the string tension.
Yeah, and that's not a problem with just putting a wing nut. You know,
Hmm.
Right.
I don't know if you had an old pool cue, how you could. Yeah, I mean, because
I don't. I was just guessing. You know.
Yeah,
it,
I know that's actually perfect.
it might be hard to use a pool cue because you have to attach this bent screw to the end of it somehow. And you know, this shaft here is hollow. So I just got the other end of the screw inside the shaft, you
Hmm.
know? And the same thing with this hook thing that I used here. This just goes, this end of the shaft is also hollow. So I don't know how you would use a pool cue. You know, you would have to come up with some kind of a way to fasten this.
Well, I guess you could use a bamboo shoot that's long enough and
I got
got
bamboo.
just the right diameter, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a.
Something, it's got to be hollow where you can stick these screws into the
Okay.
end, you know?
You
So,
know, we're growing some bamboo and we got like I mean, we have to dry and condition them, but that's something I would like to play with, you know, as an experiment.
yeah, you mean for making bows or for doing other things also?
For making bows, but yeah, if I learn how to condition the dry
Well,
and
I figured if
condition
you're,
the thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. I'm
No,
sorry.
I think my
you
invention
know,
of the I had never seen this anywhere, but when I saw Mr. Doucet's tutorial on how to make a bow, and he was using a crossbow arrow, I said, well, I don't have a crossbow arrow, and I'm not about to go out and buy one.
Right.
So
those ain't cheap either. I'm
I, I
sure.
just I just cut the end off the golf club, and
Yeah.
I think this might be the best idea. I don't know.
Well, if
Feel
you can find a
free.
cheap one, yeah, use one. But Eliza, you know who you want to talk to about the bamboo, don't you?
Yes, flute wizard.
Yeah, there's your guy. He
I
makes
got
flutes out of them.
Yeah,
So
I gotta
he
talk to
would,
him about working with bamboo
yeah,
and then trying Albert's technique.
that would be
Yeah,
really cool.
it would.
It just might work.
Maybe. Cool beans.
And so I think my next move as a saw player is to I'm going to pick up a 30-inch saw. You know, I can do a few things with this 26-inch, but I don't know. I just kind of want to see how much better a 30-inch sounds. And if I'm going to have a legit channel, you know, about the saw, then I should probably own a few different models. You know, not just this one.
Well,
And, uh,
30-inch. You pointed out that there are a couple of those available. It's the 36-inch that is got to be, I guess, a custom saw blade make.
I don't know where to get them.
Yeah.
I wish that when I was still in contact with Mr. Doucet, I could have just said something like, "Can you send me one?" Because he had like a dozen of them laying around. You
Oh,
know,
Mm. Wow.
there's a company called Wentworth. I know he plays the Wentworth saw when he
Hmm.
can. Like it's probably his favorite brand. And I don't know. We'll just have to see if sometime in the future I can get my hands on a 36 inch. But I'm kind of excited about the idea. I'm about ready to buy it, the Parkstone Melody 30 inch, and we'll just see how much better I can do with that.
You know those old saws, the old timey saws where they were 2-man saws for like
Yeah,
cutting logs and so forth,
right.
where that a person stands on either side and pulls back and forth. I wonder
Okay.
if that could be turned into a 2-person instrument.
That's something that would be quite interesting.
I was
Uh,
wondering the same thing.
one guy holds
Great
one guy
minds
holds
think
the
alike.
bow,
Yeah.
right? That's just all experimentation, you know. I
Hmm.
don't
Yeah.
know. I'll have to see if I'm going to be a saw guy. I should have a few different oddball saws anyway, you know. And so
Well,
But
my
take it a step at a time, Albert. I know it can be overwhelming setting up a shop and setting up a channel, and just take your time and enjoy the process and exhibit the things you're currently doing. You don't have to go out of your way and just spend a ton of money. Take your time with it, and yeah, make sure it's enjoyable to you. I
well,
mean,
you can get a 36-inch distant on eBay for $800.
$800. Gosh,
Wow.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's
I don't know.
crazy.
Somebody type in Wentworth 36-inch saw. Wentworth.
All right. That was my next move. Wentworth.
Yeah.
And he'll have to tell us by osmosis because unfortunately EV doesn't let other people share screens. Let me do a search too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
Wentworth.
seeing any 36 yet. Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
Yeah, you'll find a video from Olivier Doucet on how to
Oh,
play on a Wentworth saw.
huh. He's
But
doing them all.
he doesn't tell you where to buy it, where to buy the saw.
yeah,
It's a
right.
secret he's keeping to himself.
Yeah, I see his video there.
Well, I'm looking on eBay, which is used. So,
Is that a video you'd like me to play?
Um,
Or basically, you can tell me what you like to do next.
um, we wanted to hear Mr. Doucet play our national anthem.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So why don't we do that? Let me see. I'm going to cue it, and then we'll skip on over to that scene. And yeah, this is from his channel.
Musical Saw Men.
Yep. And I do have all these links in the description, folks. So you can look them up there and go straight to the video. And you should probably subscribe to his channel.
done did it.
Done, done, done.
All right.
This is
Here
a
we go.
rendition of our national anthem. Watch what he really digs out the high parts at the end.
Whoa, wow.
Really up there. Oh man.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa! Clap, clap,
The thing
clap.
with all this is it's not easy, folks, because you need to hit the right pitches, and it's so easy to just be a little sharp, a little flat, just not
Yeah.
get the right position, and you're playing some note that's foul.
And it's crazy, but he's picking songs that are also difficult to sing. Imagine if they're difficult to sing. Imagine trying to pick them out on the saw. I
Yeah.
mean, incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So
now,
he's the first one I found that really piqued my interest, and then he had some tutorials and everything too. So it's like, all right, this is going to be my guy. There's other saw players. Would it be possible just to, if you're going to sit around talking about the musical saw, you have to mention the saw lady. You know,
Oh, the saw lady. Yes, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to mention her because she's the saw lady. I mean, come on. So would there be a way for you to just even just to browse her channel? You don't even have to play any of her songs, but just to show her channel.
Okay, I'll
And
look for
it's
her.
called the Saw Lady.
She's very good too. Yeah.
She's
And
good.
she's quite a performer. She has a very interesting stage presence.
Yeah, yeah. She's always waving that bow all over the place, and she's very flamboyant, and yeah, she's good. I,
well, something that comes to my mind. I don't know if there's anybody who does this because I imagine you could, because my buddy Gabriel Marin in Consider the Source plays a lot of microtonal stuff. He plays fretless guitar. I would imagine you could do microtonal on that saw. I don't
Oh,
know if anyone
sure.
does it, but I would think you could.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Just to be precise on it, though,
Oh
would be
yeah, man, it'd be.
super difficult.
Well, I
Wow.
mean, a fretless guitar has no frets, so you have to
Right.
know. And I've attempted to play a fretless guitar.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
he
lost
makes
you
it
now.
look easy. It's not. Yeah, if your finger is not exactly where it needs to be on that fretboard, it'll sound like crap. And I
Yeah.
would imagine the same would hold true on that. If you're not in the right place, you're going to play microtonal notes without trying.
Right. Right.
So, is there anything we could play and not get copyright for? Anybody have some ideas?
well, I don't know if you would want to risk the copyright. I just wanted to know for people to know that there is someone out there called the Saw Lady, and she does a lot to promote the saw. There used to be a saw festival. It used to be every year way back in the day, and then it was every other year, and now I think they have one every 4 years. And
Oh,
even if they even still have them,
I'm going to take a chance. I mean, if we have to cut it later, we will, but I don't think at least we'll be
play a little
taken down.
something
Let
for
me
it.
try this here. This looks interesting.
Yeah.
oh, we got a YouTube ad. Come on,
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm not
Stop.
hearing it. Are you?
Nope. Just skip it.
Yeah. So it's muted. And
I think you're muted. Your YouTube is
yeah,
muted.
I know, but it's good because we didn't hear the ad.
There we go.
Oh,
And
Christmas.
she plays handbells too. Okay, cool. That's super cool. All the awesome folk instruments she plays.
Okay, well, hopefully I don't get copyrighted for applause. Oh, wait a minute. There's Mike Gorley.
There's Mike.
Oh yeah. I was closing out all them email.
All right, folks.
Oh, no, there's Mike.
Please check out
I thought you
Mr.
meant I
Mike
disappeared.
Gorley
I accidentally closed out.
after the stream, as well as the other things we've seen. Since we're talking about the saw, I don't think we're going to enjoy that, but we'll be able to later, right? So, folks, check out Mike Mountain Hawk Gorley.
Well,
Link in the description.
since you'll be pulling up something from Saw Lady, I just wanted to make a comment about fretless guitars, cellos, and basses. Um, Even though they do not have frets, still feeling your finger against the fingerboard, you have a reference point. For the saw, where is the reference point? There isn't. You have to develop a muscle memory, an incredible muscle memory to know exactly where to stop that blade. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of like playing the electric theremin. You know, where's the reference point? There
Well, you
isn't.
might be able to get a muscle memory with the saw because you feel in
Well,
your
that's what I
hand.
meant. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. It's pure muscle memory. There's no tactile cues of
Theremin,
any
it's just
kind.
ear. And that's why they kind of like use techniques like this, where like if you're just a little out of
Yeah.
tune, you just move your index finger and thumb a little forward and back.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
I
so,
think with the saw, it could be that difficult.
no, it's not as hard as you think. And
Really?
yeah, and you're only working with one octave worth of notes on this hardware store saw. So I mean, over time, you know where the notes are. Like I
Okay.
haven't even tried tonight, and I haven't practiced anything for this or that. But I mean, I can kind of bust out things like "Happy Birthday" song.
Okay.
You
All
know,
right.
like you end up knowing where the notes are, and you know from your head just to go, okay, I need to go a little higher, I need to go a little lower. You can kind of just feel it out, and just a couple of days of practice, and you know that, and you can bust out songs, you know.
That's okay. All right. I'm optimistic and yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
give her another shot here, but I will add this to the description. I didn't have it beforehand, but anyway, it's just at Saw Lady.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm following her channel.
Watch her waving this bow around and everything. She's very flamboyant.
Awesome. I love the way she performs.
Yeah, she started out in the subway in New York.
Wow.
okay, we'll pause it there just in case there's a time
Awesome.
limit on what we
That's
can
good.
use.
Just wanted to see her play. She's the saw lady. Her name is
Yeah.
her name is Natalia Peruz. I believe she's Israeli, and she's a lovely woman. She's always smiling when she's playing, and she's a great kind of representative of the saw. You
Yeah.
know, uh,
It looks like she's got a nice handle on that one too.
yeah. Well, that's the cheat. And a lot of the players will use that when they're using the longer saws. You saw the one lady who played with the guy with the banjo, my favorite song.
Yeah.
She had a cheat on hers also,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the people that use the longer saws also use the cheat. But when I get my 30-inch saw in the mail, I'm not going to put a cheat on it. It's just going to be just like this, but it's going to be sticking up higher, And I'm
No
gonna,
cheating for you, Albert.
I
You
don't
want
know.
to do it legit.
Just the fact that they call it a cheat, and I don't know. I just don't want to be holding onto that handle. I just want to hold onto the saw.
Right.
But so yeah, that's the saw lady, and there's
So the
other.
bigger ones,
What's that?
just have more range, not
Yeah,
necessarily deeper tone.
right. Well,
Like you don't have a bass saw.
no, they do. They
Do
do.
they?
Yeah, yeah. For the longer ones, they call them bass saws.
Okay.
The one that I plan on buying, it's called a Parkstone Melody 30-inch saw. It's called a 30-inch bass saw. That's what they call it.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So you're getting a wider range, but you're going further down,
All right.
into that range. So with the 30-inch saw, they say at
Okay. I
Parkstone,
was thinking you were going higher.
You're going both, I think.
Both, yeah, that's what's strange about it. You think something longer would give you deeper tones, but
But it
it
gives you
gives you a
both.
range in both directions.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. You can
Okay.
expect 2 octaves out of a good 30-inch saw, and I think Mr. Doucet, with his 36-inch Wentworth, there can get almost 3 octaves. I would think.
Wow.
You know, do I really need that kind of range? I don't know. You know, I just
Nice.
want to be able to play a few. I'm trying to figure out how to throw the saw into songs. You know, where to put them into songs. Like, what could this instrument can represent a really high pitched woman's voice, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or it could represent some funky sounds that rock and roll players are able to put into their songs, but only with,
Yeah.
like, special effects and things like that. You know, that
Good
one
substitute for the fiddle.
the one part of that Primus song, we're known as Big Brown Beaver. I want to be able to play that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like if there were a band that were doing a cover version of that song, right? Then I get up on stage and I just perform that one noise,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, there you go.
Cool
and then
beans.
that's all I do. And then I stay silent until it's time for me to do that again.
Awesome. Oh, you could also do good vibrations.
Yeah, you could well, you could mic it and get. Yeah, as I say, you could mic it and get special effects. I don't know how you would make the thing electric.
Put piezo on it.
You just glue a piezo to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You may have to add like a little resonator box for the piezo to work. Because
Yeah.
I tried once making a hydrophone without a resonator and it didn't work. But with a little tiny resonator, maybe just one of these small tin cigar boxes, that would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
You'd be the one to do it too.
I would like to pursue the notion of electrifying this. One thing that should be known is that actually these things are freaking loud. Like, you don't really need to mic it up. If you're playing in a band or whatever, people will be able to hear this. I could.
Oh, what am I saying?
What?
Rather than
Well, you'd
no, you guys may be able to answer this question for me because I'm not sure. But does the saw steel, is it magnetic? Does it conduct electricity?
I could find out if it's magnetic right now with my magnet.
Tell me, because if it's if it's relatively conductive, maybe you can put a magnetic pickup on it.
Well, it's
Magnetic pickup
Boom,
time.
Wait a minute. I just did a YouTube search and there's something here that says the electric musical saw.
Does it have a magnetic pickup?
Hold on here.
Probably
Yeah, I wouldn't
does.
think it'd be so much volume as if you
Scott
wanted
says
to do like
yes.
delay or reverb effects.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna find out.
You could do like layers with delay.
Oh yeah.
Do duets with yourself, and
I think I already had it up and then I closed it again. Here we
Oh
go.
no.
Electrified musical saw. No, don't worry. It's right back.
no. Oh,
Okay.
okay. So
Here we
yes, can we
go.
get a close up on the electric saw?
Travel
and see
can make
what
you
pickup
smell
you want?
kind of funky.
La,
Free secret probiotic deodorant is with 72 hour.
Lowe's down here in San Diego, and I
Sorry
put a
about that.
contact mic on it. I don't
Oh,
have
he
my
has the
bow right
piezo
now,
on
so
it.
I
Yeah, I
will
saw
do
this
it,
one back in
and,
the day.
I'm going
Oh.
to attempt to play Amazing Grace.
Where's the piezo? Where does he have it?
Oh, by the way, I'm running it through my guitar effects and into my amp, so
I
that's why it
thought
sounds
so.
all crazy.
Do it.
Pretty cool.
Yep. didn't
All
need to add the
right.
horse to the end, but
Piezo
that's the
pickup.
first. I think that's the first guy I've seen. Well, other than the two ladies, this is the first man with a cheat.
Yeah, I know a guy who would probably get into experimenting with something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Cool. And obviously, you can see that you don't even need a bow. You can just
you could hit it. Yeah.
you can hit it. Some people use like a little tiny mallet, you know,
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
little head on it, and they just kind of ping, ping, ping. Uh, the whole notion is, you know, with the two curves, you're hitting it in the middle where the two curves meet. And so you can hit that. You can hit that with a bow. You can hit it with a stick. You can hit it with a spoon if you want to, you know. But you got to hit it right in that point. And then you know you watch the guy do that, and you were talking about how hard it is to hit those exact notes. I can't. It's not really that hard. You can see you just got to get kind of close, you know,
Okay.
and it'll still sound okay, you know.
That's super cool. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it. And
yeah.
so I did any of you guys catch where the man placed the piezo pickup? Because he said
No,
I
he's using
couldn't
a
see it.
contact mic. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, he was
He
pointing
didn't
it
show
out
it.
apparently, but it was all in shadows.
Yeah. Maybe in the handle. Do you think he put it in the handle?
No, it was probably on the back of the saw. We just didn't see it, but it'll be something that
Okay.
you can just experiment with. You know,
Oh, I can't wait. I
once
can't
you have
wait.
your own saw, and then you know if you get a second saw or whatever, you can experiment with gluing things onto it or what. And then what you were talking about doing a duet with yourself, I should probably give away the guy's name who like I'm here to just provide information, right?
Sure,
I'm not
yeah.
I'm not here to keep secrets and then to use them for monetary profit later on. I don't care about all that stuff. I just want people to be able to play the saw. So there's a guy that showed me how. Remember how I was saying when your top hand here,
Yeah.
how people want you to hold it like this, and then I said no, let's just hold it like this. Well, there's one particular guy on YouTube that showed me that, and he plays a saw like he'll use one of those loopers, you know.
Yeah.
So he'll play a few notes on the saw and record it and then loop it, and then he gets out his guitar and he plays a few things on that and loops that, you know.
Super
And so
cool.
it is possible to like have your own little one-man band, one-person band
Oh, yeah.
with one of those looper things. But I don't know. I didn't provide you a link to this guy's channel. I don't know if you want to just look and see.
How about we give it a shot? I think we're coming to the end, but I think we have time for this. That's no problem. I also want to make sure you have time to say some other things you want to talk about.
I'll just show you who the guy is because he's one of those people that plays every musical instrument known to man and some that aren't known to man.
Nice.
And so he came out with two videos called Musical Sauce Secrets, you know,
Ooh.
and that's where he revealed that, like, look, you hold it like this, not like
Not the
this.
other way. Yeah.
And then this is where I get all my vibrato. You can see the saw vibrating when I do that. I'm moving these three fingers back and forth.
Nice.
And it provides vibrato. I don't know if you can hear it if I play some, but I'll try to throw you some vibrato. And in that one song where the lady was playing with the banjo guy, I don't know if you noticed, but she was getting vibrato with her leg.
Yeah, I noticed that. She was
She was
shaking her
actually,
leg. Yeah.
she was actually bouncing her leg up and down and moving the other end of the saw to give it vibrato. But you can see I'll play some with no vibrato and then I'll start wiggling it in. Oh, wait a minute. All right, that's no vibrato. Now I'll start wiggling. Can you hear that vibrato?
Yep.
Can you play that again? I'm sorry. Some weird audio came up.
Oh, I
and
thought
couldn't
I
hear what you
wasn't
were doing.
sharing.
You were sharing. Let's hear you again, Albert.
Okay, no vibrato at first, just regular notes. Now I'll wiggle my fingers and I'll get that vibrato.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
I can get that creepy sound, that Halloween type sound. You know?
Yes, I like it.
So this comes from this guy called David Stutzel. We don't even really have to get into it. I can save it for if I have another appearance sometime.
Okay. Yeah.
It would give me some more content to provide. But
And
Sure.
I think the other gentleman you were speaking about is named Gregoire Blanc.
um, yeah, I know that guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I've heard of him playing. And
Okay.
yeah, he's pretty good. He does duet with himself using the theremin and the saw.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's one you could check out for people who want to kind of explore the saw later on their own time. You could look at his channel, Gregoire Blanc. He's got some songs there, and the one I was recommending, the gentleman that taught me how to hold the saw the right way, is called David Stutzel, Stutzel, and on there you can see his 2 videos about musical saw secrets, and you can also see him play duets with himself using his looper. You know.
Super
So,
cool.
some more information for anybody that might be interested enough to go looking around afterwards, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just a few words about myself, I guess. You can tell I'm kind of offbeat, like I get into the funky things that other people, don't, you know what I mean? So um, I was trying to explore whether I had any musical talent or not. um, Later in life. Like I'm about to. Actually, I just turned 57. I forgot it was my birthday recently.
Happy
But
birthday.
yeah, thanks. So I've gone all these years and never really played anything. And I told this story quick before, but let me just do it again about how I was kind of forced to go into music class in high school. Like I might have gotten in a little trouble, and they wanted me to, um, do more things. I had to join the key club, and I had to volunteer, and I had to join the music class, and all this, whatever. So I played the trumpet when I was a little boy, and I wasn't that good. And so I played the trumpet in music class. And then for the football games, when we were supposed to go out and perform, the music teacher would politely ask me to put down the trumpet. Like, I'm not going to be needing that. And he told me to pick up the cymbals, for the Star Spangled Banner, Dun, 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 dun. That was my job. And, and actually, he told me I couldn't even get that right. But, the point is,
Hey, harsh.
it's just my funny version of the story. It wasn't really as bad as that. But point is that I've really gone my entire life thinking I probably don't have any musical talent. So the saw was the first thing that I found. And it's like, okay, let me see if I got any offbeat musical talent or what. And then I decided, let's go ahead and see about the guitars. So I bought this little cheapo 3-string. Sounds
Nice.
okay, and it got me playing. Uh,
Awesome.
I actually found a guitar at the side of the road. It's a nylon string classical,
Nice.
and it was the bridge was off of it, and so they threw the guitar away. It was out for the trash,
Oh,
and so I just picked it up, and it turns out it was only like $90 to glue the bridge back on, and then there was a small crack, so they went underneath and you know, uh, did whatever they do with bracing or whatever. And so for like $110, brand new strings, I got it converted to left-handed, and it
nice.
plays. You know,
That's
I
good.
got
Cool.
I got this big old classical guitar with this huge neck, and then once someone tried to convince me to do a bar chord or whatever, hold my finger across all strings. I'm like, you know what? Let's just hang the guitar on the wall, because
Yeah,
I don't, I don't
that's
know.
my experience with the guitar too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, nah.
So it was actually And then so that got me to pick up this one again and learn a few things. And then I might have just had a few extra bucks laying around, and I picked up the Shovelcaster.
Nice.
You know, so
Cool.
yeah, this one is obviously only to be played with a slide.
Nice.
And I can bust out. I had the amp all set up and everything, but you know, I don't know if this is in tune because of my oversleeping and all that. I don't know if I'll be able to bust out any tunes right now on the Shovelcaster, but I can play a couple of Led Zeppelin tunes. And there's a
Nice.
guy called Uncle Mark who does a YouTube channel called Uncle Mark's Cigar Box Guitar Lessons.
Yeah, I
And
love him too.
he
Yeah.
bought himself the same Shovelcaster, and so
Nice.
he gives lessons on how to play this also. And that's how
Cool.
I'm able to play in my time of dying.
I was going to say, there's a rule here: no stairway, just like most music stores.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And so I'm starting to get into. Excuse me a second. I'm starting to get into the slide. You know. Oh, I think I might have just knocked out my monitor. Hold on.
We're here. No worries.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry. I closed the window on myself a few minutes ago. That's why I dropped off.
I did it. No one noticed.
Or something. But anyway, so with the slides, I know that you're
zoomed in.
making your own, right, Dr. Liza? You make them out of that horse
Terracotta.
terracotta, yeah. Those are pretty cool. I like these glass ones, you know, because you just get a
Nice.
water bottle and just cut off the top, right? It's not quite as simple as that, but I also am exploring the possibility of these.
The copper
That's
copper pipe. Yeah.
It's copper, and I know you like Shane Spiel, right?
Yes, I do.
And so he came up with the concept of the stubby slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm trying to achieve with the copper is like the tip of my finger barely comes out at the end there. So that's kind of the length that I'm looking for on the slide, you know, to where you can just really pinpoint exactly which string you want to hit, right? With
Right.
that
Right.
stubby slide effect. It's funny because the job I got, I just started working a full-time job again, and it's in a copper fabrication plant, right?
Nice.
And I'm the cutoff guy. So I'm the guy that gets the pipe off of the rolls and cuts it into the right length. And it was the first week where I was like, wow, look at all this scrap copper.
Scrap copper. Oh,
valuable.
there you go. That is valuable.
Well,
Yeah.
so all I was thinking was like, wow, now I can have a bunch of slides, you know. But it turns out, you know, they don't really want you just going ahead and taking
No.
No, I'm
No.
yeah.
So basically, they let me keep these two, you know, that I made.
Oh, nice.
But they
Okay.
kind of told me, you know, like that'll be it with the slide. You know, no more of that. I'm pretty sure I can go in.
Yeah, that copper pipe's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could use the rest for wire and so forth.
Oh, if you saw
Lawrence, your audio's distorting for some reason. Your
Oh, man.
microphone.
Heavy metal Lawrence.
Yep,
if
it's
you
like
saw
you're
the size of the box that we get rid of every week and scrap, you'd be amazed. Right.
Oh, don't tell me they throw that away.
Oh no, it gets recycled and they get
Okay.
money for it. But I
Oh.
just
Oh,
figured,
Liza, you'd be amazed what these construction guys throw away.
Oh no.
yeah,
Don't
I
tell me
know.
that, Mike. Don't tell me that.
And then the only other instrument I forgot about was
They don't throw
Yeah,
copper
yeah.
away. They
another one
recycle
I
it.
can't play is the
Oh, the short
Mhm.
scale bass.
Nice.
Nice.
that's the 2-string bass. So this is from
Cool.
Crappy Guitars, Crappy with a K.
Awesome.
And you should check them out sometime. They got an interesting store with like their whole motto and everything. It's really funky. It's like, here's the deal: we're using whatever materials we can find laying around. There's no There's no implied warranty. There's no written warranty. There's nothing. There's no customer service. Don't even think about calling us. You know, and it's like we're gonna send you something that basically fits your description, but is crappily made, probably pretty dangerous.
Ay, ay, ay.
No guaranteed quality whatsoever. And that's like their mantra. And it's kind of hilarious, really. And I spent 10 months on the waiting list for that two-string bass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an interesting way to run a business.
You got to check them out at Crappy Guitars, and then just look at their manifesto. It's something along the lines of what I was saying, but it's like basically we're going to use found materials. These guitars are for people that have no expectation of quality, craftsmanship, or anything like that. We're just going to slap this thing together. Okay, so it's just pretty funny.
Well, for that, it looks like a high quality,
It is.
They look pretty good.
It looks good.
They're totally just joking around. This thing.
Oh
is,
yeah, for sure.
This thing is very well put together.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Oh, beautiful.
And then what they do for you is through each step in the process, they'll send you pictures of how your instrument is coming along.
Nice.
And then he described all the different woods that they used and everything, and so just kind of a cool experience. And then the Shovelcaster I got from a guy on eBay who specializes in these.
Nice.
And so just some ideas I would like to have for myself. I do want to become a builder later on. I can imagine myself living out in the country and somehow having a little workshop and everything, and I'm able to, really I want to make my own handles for my saws.
Right.
And I want to be able to create bows, like 10 at a time. And I want to be able to make some basic CBGs and things like that, I got an idea of a mailbox CBG,
Nice.
One of those big old mailboxes that you see. It's got that round shape on top.
Yes.
Your standard mailbox. And I was thinking that it might, with the bigger resonator like that, it might be better for like a bass, even just a two-string bass.
Wow. Well, you're starting your journey, Albert. Just, whatever happens, just be patient. Setting up a business, any type. But you know what? You are a builder. I wouldn't say that you're not a builder. You know so much about the musical saw, and you've already engaged in building and playing. You are a builder. You're not wetting your feet anymore. You are a builder.
I'm kind of a builder or a builder wannabe without a bunch of tools right now. But, I'm going to start acquiring the tools that I need. And I mean, basically, to start off with what I want to do, I need a nice little scroll saw, right?
Mm.
So I can make those wooden handles.
Nice.
I want to be able to throw those plastic handles right in the garbage and put a nice wooden one on for people. And then, I'll need a nice place. I made a video when I was conditioning your saw. I made a video of me doing it, and it's just I'm in this same room I'm in right now, with my computer right over there and dust flying all over the place, and it's like this isn't really where you build things, but that's all I got right now. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking in the future, I really want to be involved in getting the saw out there for people and having saws available, and then being able to build other instruments too,
Yeah,
So-
you can't wait until you get the perfect environment. You got to start before then.
Yeah, well, it was Dr. Liza that got me started because once I mentioned to her that, well, I make bows and I can show you how to make one for your leg fiddle. And then just one thing led to another for me because I started talking to her about the saw. And then I wanted to get a saw into her hands, So this is Dr. Liza's saw over here. It's in the process of being put together. Once I get these two holes,
Sweet.
it's got 3 holes, right? But 2 of them don't line up with the new handle. So I got to make 2 new holes. And you would think, well, that's not really that hard. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to screw it up, And I was actually so broke for a while that I didn't have $20 to go buy nice what do you call it, drill bits or anything. Now I do have them, and so um, we're just going to slap that together. There is one little bit of customization I'd like to do on this side. I want to implant an object somewhere in here, but we'll see if that actually happens. And then I have an idea for the main pin there. It's got like one of those. It's larger, and
Cool.
it's able to have some kind of. Well, I'll just let you use your imagination, but there might be a custom feature right here, later on. And I was talking about how I do want to cover up this one, engraving that kind of got cut off when I reshaped the handle. The handle was much bigger before, and I kind of made it nice and girly for Dr. Liza. So anyway, that's my story. I'm basically, I came into the notion of being on a podcast like this with like, oh my goodness, I got to have everything set up so I can just promote my website and my YouTube channel. And then I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to drive myself nuts with it. I'm just going to go on their podcast and with the notion of showing the world the saw, like anybody that's watching the podcast, here's the musical saw. Maybe you haven't seen it before. Maybe you heard about it, but you didn't know much about it. Well, here it
Right.
is. And now that was my only purpose for coming on. I want to show people that this is another way to make funky sounds. That's kind of cool. And so I don't feel bad about not having my website set up. I did buy the website. I have the exact name that I want, and it has musical saw in it. And there's a YouTube channel available with the same name. So, the process is in
Keep it
motion.
secret for now.
It's the process is brewing, but
Yeah.
you're keeping it close to the chest for now. Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Well-
it's basically you that got me to put things in motion faster than I normally would have.
Well, again, Albert, don't feel like I was trying to pressure you or anything. I just sharing my experience as a builder in a creative business. I can't even call what I have a business yet, but I'm sticking my foot in the water. I'm a creative business owner, and I was just sharing ideas on how you could get started, but not trying to put any pressure on you. I know how much time and work and setup and sometimes money it takes to get something together, and I know what it feels like not to have two pennies to rub together, especially when you want to do something. So take your time, enjoy the process, because at least speaking from my experience, if I wasn't enjoying the process, I wouldn't have come this far. And I still have a long way to go, and don't let that stop you. Chase the dream, but at your own pace, follow your gut,
Yeah.
Well-
that's great advice, and I really wish you a lot of luck with your channel, both of your
Okay.
channels.
And Mike is here. And speaking of which, I think we're getting to the conclusion of our episode tonight. We really appreciate having you on, Albert, and we wish you the best of luck in the future. We will stay in touch.
Yeah.
And we encourage anyone that has been watching and enjoying this video, whether it's live or later, please do go down in the description, whether it's YouTube or Rumble, and look for Now Open for Lunch. That is Albert's channel for now, so that you can see his progress towards achieving his goals. And it's also a place to keep in touch with him until he's able to launch everything, with the new website and the new
Right.
YouTube channel name.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll be
And then, well, actually, you can, anybody can email me too. It's also now open for lunch at Gmail, kind of easy to remember. But if anybody might want a bow or something like that, and
All right.
might want me to send them one before any official store is open or anything like that, And anybody that contacts me through watching me on this stream, I'll make you a bow at whatever it costs me. I'm not going to try to make money off you, to just maybe get a few bows out there to start things off or what. And, later on, I hope to have saws available with bows but any questions you might have about the saw or making a bow, you could just email me at nowopenforlunch@gmail,
Okay.
Cool.
and I'll
Great.
answer questions. So, yeah, I thank you for having me on, and I really
Yeah,
kind
thank
of,
you. This has
even
been
though
really
I
good.
overslept, you might think, oh, that doesn't show much commitment, but
Oh no.
no, I was really quite
Shit happens.
I was really quite excited to just expose the saw for people,
Great.
Yeah.
And
You got
Yeah.
my interest.
It was a good night. I had a fun time.
Learned a
just-
lot. I've learned a lot.
I like
Great.
making strange sounds.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
What's
well,
the
it's
other
interesting
people
that
do?
through Dr. Liza, I found this channel, which you kind of specialize in funky sounds, right?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
all do our funky sounds.
So,
Well, tonight I think we're going to play for the last time the
Yeah.
national anthem recording that we were using, because I think in the future we're going to replace that with the Olivier Doucet version
yeah.
All
of the national
right.
anthem.
There we
But for the
go.
last time, we're going to hear this Moog version of the national anthem.
Okay.
8:56. We are now.
done. See you next time.
Okay.